Hi, it's Money44 here, and today I would like to invite you to the review of the Specna Arms SA-F02 replica from Flex series. The replica for the review was provided by Gunfire. The Flex series from Specna Arms is the answer to the market demand in the category of replicas for beginners. These are currently the cheapest replicas from this manufacturer. And this is due to the slight slimming down of the already known Polymers Replica series core. In today's review I will try to show you what is the same and what has changed in relation to the well-known core series. We'll see how the replica is built both from the outside and inside and check its performance. But as standard, we'll start with a small unboxing. In the colorful cardboard box with carrying handle we'll find test certificate of the replica at the factory, instruction manual, set of stickers, catalog, Wicker M90 spring, cleaning rod, S-Mag High Cup magazine, and the SA-F02 replica itself. Let's take a closer look at it. Replica with folded stock measures about 79 cm and with fully extended stock measures 87 cm. With the magazine but without the battery, it weighs almost 2.3 kg. The main material from which the replica is built is a polymer reinforced with nylon fibers, which we know from core series. It is used for such elements as keymat grip, the entire body, iron sights, pistol grip, and even the stock guide and the stock itself. The outer barrel with flash hider, magazine release, dummy bolt catch, trigger, selector, charging handle, rear sling mount, and of course screw and pins are made of metal. After unscrewing the flash hider, we have access to a standard 14mm counterclockwise thread, which allows us to mount such accessories as flash hiders, sound suppressors or tracer units. The polymer K-Mod front has a top wrist rail through its entire length, and additional on the front you will find 3 sections of wrist rails that can be rearranged through the entire grip. The grip itself, despite the fact that it looks like a so-called free float, it is connected to the outer barrel with a large element that further stiffens the whole construction. At the back it is secured with 3 screws that tighten it on the barrel ring, and additionally it has small tabs that rest on the body, making the connection more secure. On the top rail there are folding polymer iron sights in form of a vertically adjustable front sight and horizontally adjustable rear sight with 2 sizes of holes to choose from. The sights can be of course removed. On the left side of the body we can find a large Specna Arms logo along with the serial number. Next there is a dummy bolt release and then the fire selector. We have 3 standard settings: safe, single fire, and continuous fire. On the other side we'll find a standard magazine release button. After pulling the charging handle, the shell ejector flap opens and a dummy bolt pulls back. Now we have access to the rotary hop-up chamber. To increase the hop-up power, turn the knob down, and to decrease the power, turn the knob up. Pistol grip is standard and provides good grip of the replica. Going further, we'll find a metal sling mount plate. Polymer stock has a total of 6 adjustment points and a place for a push dot mount. As is the case with most replicas on the market, it has a noticeable amount of play. In the stock we have prepared a place for the battery. To get to it we have to take off the buttstock. It is held by 2 hooks. After releasing them we can take it off. The stock guide is quite shallow, but I had no problem to fit a Turnigy Nanotech 11.1 1200 mAh battery. Additionally, we have a lot of space in the side compartment of the stock, so I could see no obstacles in using 2 or 3 part cell LiPo. The replica itself makes a good impression in the hands. It is lightweight, but the plastic has a nice matte finish. Of course, the name of the series obliges, and the replica has a flex, which means that it can be bent in your hands. But I will tell you that I will be surprised if it was otherwise. No less worth noting that the degree of the flex is much less than the case of Sima CM515, which in my opinion is a direct rival of the flex in the price range. In addition, it does not emit such terrible sounds at the same time. I've been playing with this replica, and to be honest, I didn't have to concentrate on not bending it. The construction is so stiff that I actually have to put some force to bend it. The replica is equipped with a quick spring chain system. For this you will need a long Phillips screwdriver and an Allen key. I'm pulling off the stock. I remove the screw located in the guide and pull it off. Now I have access to the spring guide. I press and turn it by 90 degrees and I can pull out the guide with the spring. Polymer high cap type S-Mag magazine holds up to 380 rounds, and fully wounded up it should be enough to fire the whole magazine. We know how the replica looks like from the outside, now it's time to see how to take it apart and what you can find inside. I start the disassembly by unscrewing the Freud pin and knocking it out. Now I can pull the upper part of the body. If the upper receiver will block, it's worth to pull the charging handle a bit to the rear. Replica is equipped with a well-known rotary hop-up chamber known from Core and Edge series. Standard hop-up backing is made of medium hardness rubber, while the spacer is quite soft. Additionally, in my replica I noticed that the backing had a lot of play in the chamber and this may cause some air loss. The mounted barrel has a length of 363 mm and a diameter of 6.03 mm. It is made quite well in my opinion and it's well polished. Now let's move on to the lower receiver with Gearbox. I'll start by pulling the stock, unscrewing its guide and pulling it together with the sling mount. Next I'm pulling out the spring guide with the spring. The guide has no bearing and has a polymer cone. The spring, if I'm not mistaken, is a M110 equivalent with a regular coil pitch. Now I unscrew the magazine release and pull it out. Next I unscrew two screws at the bottom of the pistol grip. In my case these screws were slightly screwed in. I recommend to check how they are in your case and tighten them if necessary. I disconnected the connectors and pull out the motor. It is what Specna calls advanced motor, but the power of the magnets tells me it's not a neodymium motor. Still, it works. I unscrewed the 4 screws that hold the pistol grip and I can remove it. I knock out the big rear pin and the smaller one at the trigger. Now I can pull out the gearbox. To get to the inside of the shell I have to unscrew 9 screws and cut the seal. Bye bye warranty. The shell itself, what is important, has a corrected rounding of the cylinder window, so its strength should be higher compared to the old type shells. The manufacturer says that you can use even M140 spring, although I don't know if it is a good idea. Mounted in the shell are 8mm bushings. Grease used in the replica is quite thick and sticky and there is not much of it, but I would not call the elements dry, it's okay. Standard contact cube is mounted in the shell. Gears are standard 18:1 ratio. Sector gear has a delayer mounted. Pinion gear is standard. And the bevel gear has 4 anti-reverse teeth. The whole set is pretty well shimmed and turns without any special resistance or unpleasant noises. The polymer piston has a full metal jaw. Mounted on it is vented polymer piston head without bearing. Interestingly, the metal cylinder is Type 0. In my opinion, it should be more like a Type 2. The cylinder head is polymer, it has 1 O-ring and quite hard buffer. The polymer nozzle is 21.3mm long and has no sealing. Topped plate is made of quite flexible plastic. The system without the nozzle passes the syringe test without any problems. The problem begins with the nozzle, because we can find leaks both on the inserted and removed nozzle. On the one hand, we lose some air, but on the other hand, in case of a jam, the air has somewhere to run and this reduces the chances of damage to the gears. As we saw, the gearbox apart from improved shell is exactly the same as in the Specna Core SA-C21, which I did a meltdown on some time ago, and which gave up only after more than 34,000 shots non-stop, so I will not worry about the gearbox. So let's see what kind of performance we can expect. I've done chronograph test and shooting test before disassembling the replica. I've used 0.28 gram Specna Arms Edge BBs, Turnitin Nanotech 11.1 1200 mAh battery and hop-up set according to the weight of the BBs. My replica on a stronger spring generates on average about 1.23 joules or 308.1 FPS. What is interesting, despite the leak on the nozzle, the spread is very small and oscillates around 4 FPS or 0.03 joules. When calculated for the 0.20 gram BBs on which the manufacturer chronos, it gives us a result of 364 FPS, which is not much less than the declared. And remember that the measurement is done on the hop-up set at 0 and I set it for the test for in normal use. Rate of fire is about 17 rounds per second. On weaker spring, my gun generates on average about 0.69 joules, which is 227.4 FPS. The spread has slightly increased to 6.5 FPS, which is 0.04 joules. After conversion it gives 268 FPS on 0.20 gram BBs. The manufacturer declares about 300 FPS. Rate of fire increased to about 19 BBs per second. Don't let the snow fool you, I made the shooting test in April. At 30 meters I have no problem to hit the target. The accuracy is quite good. At distance of 40 meters I still have no problem hitting the target. The accuracy has deteriorated a bit and I have occasional sideways flyers. Hitting the target from 50 meters is not a special problem either. The spread increased but the most of the shots hit the target. "60 meters is the maximum range of this replica. I had to aim a little higher than the target, but a lot of shots reached it. The effective range I will define as 50 meters, while the maximum is about 60 meters. The replica was with me on one game and performed very well. I have a confirmed hit just from about 60 meters. To sum up, Specna Arms SA-F02 Flex is for most part a Specna core with a polymer front. It is light, almost entirely made of durable polymer. The quality of externals is in my opinion simply good. It is known that the polymer replica will be susceptible to bending, hence probably the flex in the name. But I will not worry about it. The fit and rigidity is better than the competitive CM515. The replica is equipped with quick spring replacement system and the second weaker spring in the kit, which makes the replica more universal. Additionally, we have a good rotating hop-up chamber, corrected shell and quite solid interiors. And I would like to remind you that the same components withstood over 34,000 shots in my Specna Arms SA-C21 meltdown. On the chronograph we can see the result is lower than declared, but it was performed on a set hop-up, not zero as in the factory. And the range and accuracy I would describe as standard in this class. 50 meters of effective and about 60 meters of maximum at this power is not bad. Flex series replicas has been created for users with a small budget. And of course you can say that by adding let's say 20 euros more you can have a slightly better replica. But remember that not everyone's budget is flexible at the beginning and spending an extra 20 euros may be too much. For the replica of course you will still need to buy a battery and a charger, and for playing you will need also BBs and protective gear. And in this case every penny will be very important. Especially for a young person who has been saving money for his first replica for a while, as well as for someone who wants to try Airsoft without spending too much. In such cases, do not forget about my discount code for purchases at Gunfire. You will find it as always in the description of the video. As a first replica, in my opinion, Flex should do very well. I recommend to use it as you get it in. And if you want to tune it, just replace the backing, nozzle and replace the plug with TDMs, which in the basic configuration should improve range, accuracy and trigger response a bit. When you buy something else, this replica will work great as a spare. It is lightweight, so you can take it with you as a spare, or lend it to someone who wants to try Airsoft. That will be all for today. Let me know what you think about Flex series, and if you already have one, how it performs for you. And for now, thanks for watching and see you next time.